Hello everyone, this is George Zink. Welcome to Zink Tennis Vlog. Today we're talking about matches and why students should play matches. I get this question all the time, why does my son or daughter show up at a tournament and they seem not to play their best? And my first question to them is, how many sets did they play this week in practice? And most of the time the answer I get is 0 to maybe 2. I have a really great story that a friend of mine, Jimmy Arias, I'm fortunate enough to know him, he lives in our hometown, he was top 5 in the world. And I asked him the other week and I said to him, hey Jimmy, tell me about when you were growing up and what that looked like. He said, let me tell you, first thing, it doesn't look like the way the kids grow up today. And I said, tell me what that means. He said, I played so many sets. He said, I just played sets. He said it would be not a crazy day for him to play 5 or 6 sets in one day. And then I started going back to my junior career. And I know I told you in one of the last vlogs that, I grew up in a very small town. But I went to these 4 courts that was a park courts, and I used to show up at 10 o'clock in the morning and I'd literally stay there till 8 at night. And I know that, I promise you, that's not an exaggeration. And what I would do is I'd wait around until the men wanted to play, and then I'd play sets, and I'd play sets, and I'd play sets, and I said play sets. So that's probably between Jimmy's story and my story. It's probably where I've been coming from, and also been coaching for over 20 years. I realized that there's so much value in the sets. Now, I'm not saying not to drill. I'm not saying that because I truly believe that you need to drill too. You need to do live ball drill, you need to do fed ball drill, but I just think that people undervalue the matches. And I think there's 3 types of matches that we can play. We can play the match that we win pretty easily, fine, 6-1, 6-2, whatever. And then we can play the match that we're even with the guy or girl, 7-5, 7-6, 6-4 sets, which is a battle. And then I think the other side, we play somebody a little bit better than we are, where we might lose a set 6-2 or 6-3. So all 3 of those are very, very valuable. But what I found, especially since I live in Florida, is that a lot of the academies around, and they'll say they play sets, but one of the things that I find is that do they play 3 sets? Do they play 4 sets? Do they play 5 sets in a day? And feeling the situation. So let's ask ourselves the question, why do we want to play sets? What do we learn from the sets, okay? So let's imagine that the match tomorrow, my son's playing a tennis tournament tomorrow. Let's imagine that it's 4-all or 5-all or 6-all in the third, right? We show up tomorrow and it's the first time that he feels that, right? It's the first time he felt that since he played the last tournament that he played. What happens is it's just not familiar for him. So if he would choke, if he would gag, or if things wouldn't go his way, then it's my opinion is he wasn't in that situation enough times. And I also think I have a big thing when I hire people for my business. The first question that I ask them is, how resourceful are you? And a friend of mine taught me that, is that, how resourceful are you? And if they say very resourceful, I'll say, next thing I'll say to them is, give me an example of how, that when you were resourceful. So that goes a long way. And so on the tennis court, when you're playing a match, you have to be resourceful. You have to figure out. It's just not a pattern, that you want to run. Yes, I believe in patterns and I believe in key plays, but I struggle with the coaches out there that say, run this pattern, run this pattern. Well, sometimes you got to improvise. Sometimes you can run a pattern, but sometimes you have to improvise, and you learn that from the match court. The other thing that happens is, I was talking to another friend of mine that put out a lot of champions, and he said one of the things that he used to do is he said he would bring in 10 kids and he would make them all pay 20 bucks. So he had $200, and then he would match it. Okay, so that's 400 bucks. And what he would do is he'd say the winner takes 300 and the runner-up takes 100. If we did that in today's world, the parents would just go crazy. They would get upset, they would get mad. And maybe that's not the right thing to do with money, but what it did is it added pressure. I also heard of stories that, Nick Bollettieri and Rick Macy, they did those things. They put these, pressure on these kids. And today, I think we're trying to, keep our kids out of the pressure zone. And I just don't know if, my true belief is that if you're passionate about tennis and you love tennis, then, pressure is part of it. And you need to, make sure that you embrace the pressure and enjoy the pressure. So that's all things that, the match brings to you, decision making, figuring out how to, what's your why, first serve percentages. So I'm just going to recommend that your son or your daughter, even the adults out there, I recommend that you play more sets and put stuff on the match. When I say that, maybe you're working on your volley, maybe you're working on your approach shot, maybe you're working on your first serve. Go out there with things to work on, but play a set and make it real. I do want to say this, is that, I put these vlogs out here, out on the internet for you to see and for me to give value. That's really what I want. I want you guys to have value of the knowledge that I've learned over the 20 years of my life being not only a player, but a coach, and now a coach of my own kids that are pretty good. I want to give you my value, and that's why I put these out there. But I do want to say that at zinktennis.com, we do match analysis, where if you send in a match, if you videotape your match and you send it in to us, we will evaluate the match and compare it to ATP and WTA score stats, and then we'll do a voice overlay on your match, and it's just super helpful and insightful for you to watch it with your son or daughter. If you mention that you saw this video, we're going to give you a $50 discount. So go to zinktennis.com under match analysis, send us the match, and if you don't have a camera, I will actually send you one, and I'll give you a tripod and something you can put behind the court, and you can use it for your match if you don't have one already. But if you do have one, you can just upload it to Dropbox. It's pretty easy. You can contact me on my number on my website, and we'll make sure that we give you that analysis. And then I want your feedback of what you think, because I'm telling you, we do not play enough matches. The more matches, the better. Don't stop drilling, but keep playing the matches. Thank you, and have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day.